Alright, one last video for the noobs. If you're a geek, or a nerd, or a pencil neck, just click off the video now. I threw together a random fleet that can consistently two-shot Nagato meta, using only permanently available ships and equipment. I did not go out of my way to min-max anything at all, using only fundamental understanding of the game to put together 6 ships that can accomplish the goal. First, we need a tank in the Vanguard, and I went with Anchorage. She is a PR ship that has catch-up blueprints and is coinable. You want her at Dev 30. Face simulation is nice but not required. In the same season, I believe A gear is also coinable, so that's an obvious better option if you have access to it. And any tank that deals more damage than Anchorage will be an upgrade for this position, so use whatever event ships you have access to instead of copying the fleet directly. After that, I'll talk about the main fleet. The only UR and also main carry of the fleet is Shinano. Your ships need to be adequately leveled in order to accomplish this, so I'm going to assume that you've been playing for at least 2 major events, in which case you should have hit pity and been able to obtain Shinano. If you didn't choose her, go complain to whoever or whatever told you not to pick her. Shinano is pretty much the best ship in the game against single heavy armor enemies. Some ships like Musashi, Amagi, Haku, and Nakimov might be able to deal more damage than her alone, but her total contribution remains among the best, if not the best. After that, we'll need a way to make sure that we can hit Nagato in the latter parts of the fight when she starts moving around. I chose Ark Royal, who is a very easily obtainable ship with a reliable slow. She is also heavily torpedo bomber oriented, which makes her a heavy armor specialist. If you have Implacable, she would obviously be a direct upgrade due to the reliability of her slow. For the final slot in the main fleet, there are a few options. I chose Taiho because her performance against heavy is decent, and she is also heavily buffed by Shinano, making her likely the best option. Other than Taiho, you can also try Shokaku or Victorious if you have her fully upgraded for some reason. Haku is also coinable now, so she's a huge upgrade over Taiho in every way. Chkolov would also be an upgrade, and obviously Carrier Amagi if you got her recently, but even I haven't maxed her out yet. We've already got the core of the fleet, and now all we have to do is to fill the other 2 Vanguard slot with more damage. Kazagumo is a no-brainer that I use in my best fleets even when I have everything available. She greatly increases the damage of all the carriers while bringing respectable damage of her own. In the last slot, I'm using Ibuki, who with her new unique augment is as good as you're gonna get for a permanent ship against heavy armor. If you don't have Ibuki, you can try Ayanami, Kawakaze, or Drake if you only have gunships. Also, it shouldn't need to be said, but obviously Unzen is a direct upgrade over her if you have her. I avoided Helena here because I'm trying to make a consistent 2-shot fleet, but you can by all means use her if you can deal 50 bars even without any Helena procs, or if you just have nothing else worth using. For the equipment, it's very basic stuff. I'm using mostly +10 planes and auxiliaries because I would not bother to turn my fleet tech down, but please upgrade your torpedo bombers and steam catapults to +13. They're some of the first equipment you should be upgrading anyway. For dive bombers, I am using 1 +10 Tenrai because you can get it from the Protocore shop, but it's not necessary by any means. The reload number doesn't really matter. My reload fleet tech is turned down to 19 for my usual setups, but it still works with 0, 40, or anything in between. What does matter though is that the 3 carriers have similar enough cooldowns that they can all benefit from Ark Royal slow, and Taiho needs to launch first in order to apply her 10% damage buff to the other 2. If you're using Haku instead, you don't need to make sure Haku launch first. It's only something you have to do with ships like Taiho and Shokaku because buffs to carriers are accounted for at the moment their airstrike goes off. If you want to learn more about carrier equipment, check the equipment guides playlist in the description where I go super in depth about all 3 plane types. For Anchorage, I'm just using standard stuff. You can pick up 1 Drake gun from the Protocore shop, so I'm using it, but it's not necessary. The Beaver badge also does not need to be +13, and a toolbox or the Eagle Union Elite Damage Control Protocol also work fine. Neither the Torps nor the anti-air gun are necessary, just use whatever. For Kazagumo, the gun and torpedo are quite important, but the rest is whatever. Just give her at least 1 HP auxiliary, and if you're finding that she's having trouble surviving with Oxytorp, give her another. For me, she survives just fine with just 1, so there's no reason not to give her an Oxytorp. Finally, for Ibuki, I don't think she has any trouble surviving in the rear, so double down on Oxytorps for her. The main gun and anti-air gun don't really matter. Drake gun would be better by a little, and for all 3 Vanguards, Stag will be the best option if you have access to it, but don't sweat it because it barely makes a difference. Once again, I'm leaving my fleet tech on for my Vanguard ships except for Heavy Cruiser Reload. It'll help my Kazugumo and Ibuki quite a bit, but I sincerely believe if your main fleet equipment is well upgraded, they will more than make up for the difference. Let's now see the fleet in action.
定めなれアンカレッジ成功発露までお務めをこの一投息吹の高値にかけて定めま見えるアンカレッジさて、ご退場願おうかこの幸せさて、ご退場願おうか見える痛いの早く終わってさてご退場願おうかこの一投定め吹の高値にかけてご退場願おうかアンカレッジ定めまさてご退場願おうかこの一投息吹の高値にかけてさてご退場願おうか定めま見えるさてご退場願おうか
Okay, I closed the game at the end just to blue ball you, but the boss had 46 bars left, which in fact is a 2-shot with no Arc Royal double damage procs. So yeah, this is pretty much going to be the minimum that you're going to need for a 2-shot, and there is plenty of room to improve with what you have. The difference between a 1-shot and a 2-shot is not much in terms of the effort you have to spend every day, but the amount of account development between 1-shot and 2-shot is very large, so just aim for this for now, and then develop your account at your own comfortable pace. Hope this helps, and see you in the next one.